YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Look at this UMX Waco. It is so pretty in black and yellow here. We also did one in red and white. And look, the scarf, so cool. So guys, we're gonna fly this again on the NX10 this time. We also have footage, if you haven't already seen it, of flying the white and red unit on the new 7E. All right, guys, here we go. This one behaves a little bit better on the ground. I'm sure that's just a fluke. Okay, we're about 50% throttle here. I need to put my sunglasses on, I forgot. Man, that looks so good.
I love the yellow.
I know, I really do. And if you guys are worried about weight, I can tell you this, you can't feel any difference between this one and the more unpainted white version, or at least I can't. It feels and looks amazing. Now I gotta say, in terms of flyability, they are both very good flying planes. And I love the way the yellow looks. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but I'm never sure exactly what footage you guys are gonna get. But we're Iowa Hawkeyes fans, I know, reluctantly. And if you're an Iowa State fan, the other plane would be for you. So now I'm gonna definitely tell you this, the NX7E impressed me way more than I thought it would. And I was wrong that one time, but just because it has cow-like colors does not mean it was designed after a cow. And if you get one, I think you're gonna be very happy with it, especially if you're used to doing non-Spectrum stuff, and then you get to experience the Spectrum Airwear software, which is very easy to work with. Especially if you're brand new to the hobby and you're listening to guys like me that help you set them up from start to finish. And that's what you really need. Okay, so we're gonna do some loops and rolls. Look at the ups, guys. It's just amazing ups. Sorry, that was not a loop. We'll do a loop eventually. We'll do a loop right now. It's like 60% to get the loop completed, okay? This is on 3S, guys. You can fly it on 2S, but I would just say fly it on 3S. Just wanted to show you what near unlimited vertical does for you. It gives you aerobatic capability that you wouldn't have otherwise, okay? Well, with the wind, just very light wind this morning, thank God. Now, I definitely gotta say, the knife edges, there's enough to get the knife edge in, but we have cut our rates down to 97%. And I think, as you can see, I'm kind of walking it a little bit to keep the wing loaded. Oh, that looks so dang good though. So if you guys are into knife edges, that's pretty much full throttle and full rudder. And you can see I've kind of got that little tendency to push the nose down when I do that move. I don't know why, I could just let go of that stick. But yeah, this thing looks really good. Although we probably need to be careful that UPS isn't coming to deliver right now. He didn't turn. Although I wouldn't have been surprised if he went full speed up the driveway. That's their usual method. Inside. Little knife edge action there. I wonder if I just need to mix a little bit more up elevator into my knife edge to make that thing cleaner. I think that's what I'm gonna try now. Guys, if you're used to practicing aerobatics, you know what? I wonder if the wind is what's going on, because I keep, let's try it again here. Oh, dang it, I got a gust. When I was in Alabama, I was flying with Gary. Gary's a guy who knows his things. If you're Gary and you're watching this video, welcome, Gary. He was a good pilot, slightly better than me by probably millions of flights. Like literally.
Literally.
I don't know about millions, but hundreds of thousands of flights. that would be a realistic. He's one of the test guys for Horizon and used to work for, was it Great Plains before? Student. Let's do a little stall turn there for you. And so I had the opportunity to fly a few of his planes. That was really cool. And guys, if you haven't seen our Alabama footage from Birmingham RC when we went out to Bigfoot. Okay, so that's our timer for 5 minutes. We're gonna have plenty more flight time. If you haven't seen that footage, don't worry, you haven't missed it. We just haven't published anything about our actual trip down there yet, beyond the announcements of the trip. And then when those guys came up here and flew, and we made our little announcement video, which was super fun. But boy, we had a really good time out there. It was fun. We had lots of good camaraderie with those guys out there. Got a chance to play with some toys that I don't have, which is crazy to imagine. I don't have all of them, but I don't. And it was just really fun. Got to hang out with Bert, our favorite and only SR-71 pilot friend. And then Ben Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
He was flying a B-26. That was super cool. So guys, just all sorts of fun. And then I can't remember everybody's names because I'm bad with names, but I remember Roger because it was toward the end. Who else do we remember? Camera crew?
Well, Scott Settle is the
president
of their
El
club.
Presidente.
Yep. And they had a ton of people that worked on that event. Their whole club just really.
They pulled out all the stops,
They
guys.
did.
And they had hot dogs for sale. There we go. Finally got a decent knife edge.
The wind calmed down there a little bit, though.
Yeah, that's right. That must have been what I was fighting. It wasn't a lack of skill at all. It was just a lack of wind. Just kidding. Shooting the moon here. Guys, when you have no clouds, it's really hard to film, especially small planes. Camera crew, we're going to the bull.
Okay.
So now, guys, if you're new to Brian Phillips RC, what I'm about to talk about probably means nothing to you, but you maybe in the backdrop, you can see a small pile of trees back there, as in trees that were cut down. Those trees, and an excavator and a couple bulldozers. That's what's happening next on Brian Phillips RC as we are digging a pond, and it's gonna be huge. And it's gonna be awesome, folks. I mean, really awesome. I cannot wait to bring you more progress videos on it. It's also kind of a huge price tag, so if you wanna help support us, it would be much appreciated. But that being said, we got permission to get the trees out finally because the county made some very large mistakes. And now we have to deal with the mistakes that they made, and it's causing potential for a lot of delays. And it's so weird when the county makes mistakes and there's damages, financial damages, they don't pay them. It's so strange, unless you sue them. Which we'll have to wait and find out if that happens.
You mean when the federal government gets involved, things take longer?
In a jurisdictional
They don't always
conflict.
go smoothly.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's something called a jurisdictional release that has to now be done because a county engineer's assistant decided to ask the federal government's opinion, which is not her job, and it's not his job.
Nope.
And that's the sort of thing that in the private sector would get you fired. But whatever. I mean, it's only my money, not theirs. And it's only our timeline, not theirs. And this is pretty much why most people just do it. They don't ask permission. That being said, we couldn't afford the estimated $350,000 fines from the EPA for digging a pond on your own property. So guys, if you're ever thinking about digging a pond and you want to do it without permission, then just make sure that you can get away with it. Otherwise, you might lose your house or something expensive. Like if you have a Lamborghini or something sitting around, you could just trade them the Lamborghini. Actually, that would be like, depends on what Lamborghini you have and how old it is.
Yeah.
Maybe a Ferrari, a couple Ferraris, there you go.
Our son was going to get a Lamborghini the other day. And he realized he only had $6.
Oh, is that what he
Yeah. He was short a little bit. He's 6.
Yeah, he's his concept of monetary things is very limited at best.
Maybe we could get him an RC Lamborghini for Christmas.
Hey, that would be kind of cool. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you safe. Safe is now on. So why am I showing you safe? So I can scroll over And we're about 30% left on juice here. That's one of my favorite features of flying these newer ultra micros, because we've got telemetry in there, and the telemetry allows you to see exactly what's going on your battery, so you don't have to wonder.
So you've gotten about 10 minutes or so on
So
both
far?
of them. Yeah.
Well, and there was 27% battery left on the last 3S that we went in. But you got to remember, on these ultra micros, they do tend to go to a low voltage cutoff a little bit premature compared to some of the other, or low voltage protection. I don't know if it's LVC, if it's actually pulsing, because they do pulse, I believe. So guys, the wide envelope for flight on this plane, sorry about the sun there, camera crew. The wide flight envelope really makes this thing fun to fly. I definitely can tell you one thing. I love flying the white one. I love flying the yellow one. They're both so good. And if you guys get an opportunity to get one, I don't care which color you go for, because they're both really dang good. And if you want to fly at scale, I would suggest if you fly on 2S, you're going to be looking at a lot less power, folks. And so my suggestion would be probably just don't. But there again, if you're really into super scale flight performance and you want to make it only fly about like this, then you're going to be totally fine on 2S. I just don't personally like that type of flying style when it comes to these planes that are capable of some level of aerobatics in real life. Because I think really, at the end of the day, if you present an RC plane in the characteristics that they would fly in real life, I think it makes for a really fun presentation. Let's see if we can do a touch and go. Whoa. They do bounce, and I mean, I understand that's a piloting issue too, so not trying to totally blame the plane. The wind is going the other way, so I'm gonna go up here. We'll try for just a nice, greasy touch and go, if we can get it. Gosh, Brian, fly it. You gotta hit the runway someday. Okay, so that was sort of barely touch and go. Let's see if we can get a better touch and go. I'd like to bring in and do 1 foot. Oh, when I get close to the flag, I gotta go around it, guys. Sorry. You see how it's undulating up and down? That's thermal action, in case you were wondering. Come on! So I told you they bounce, and I'm serious, because those are pretty greasy. That should have been easy. They're not hard tires, so you don't have to worry about hard tires. You can, oh, there's our critically low alarm, so I'm gonna get out of the throttle. We go around. When you fly small planes, make sure you give yourself a wide berth on things like that. By the way, that cherry at the end of the driveway, we're moving it. Oh, I hate that it bounces. It's driving me nuts. Okay, throttle cuts on. Now, I have a little bit of recovery here. I just want to point something out to you guys, because you're with us. Come on, Megan, to the center. You see what's down at the end of that? There's a cherry.
That one.
Okay. Now, you can't see it now. Now,
Nope.
Point at the one next to it.
On this side, there's one there.
And then the evergreen.
And a little evergreen. And then there's some plum trees down here.
Yep. Those ones are going to get moved, which is going to open up this channel. We already have an opening here, but you have to final and zigzag. It's like an S curve.
Through here.
And so we're super, super exciting upgrades. And as you can see, I put a bunch of dirt here, so we're gonna get that top dressing worked in. And we're just basically trying to fix all the little dilemmas that we have so we can have a good grass strip up here too. And part of the reason that we love doing all this stuff on YouTube is because you guys have been such an amazing supportive audience. Even though I bounce landings in like that, which is embarrassing, I want greasy landings with this, but I think pavement, it just wants to bounce. They are kind of a squishy tire. They're not like the squishiest, softest ones we've ever had, but there's 0 issues with the wheel pants. That's a big deal, guys. Wheel pants, wheel fairings look great. They're well attached. That's something that we've struggled with in the past on these UMX models. And I'm gonna tell you this, the looks, the feel, every single thing about this plane I like, with the exception of the simulated motor. I am not a fan of that. I think it looks bad. But that being said, that would be an easy thing to fix. I could take and print out my own simulated motor, or I could take a black marker and go around that inside edge that's white. okay? Because I just think it stands out and it doesn't look right. Other than that, I love this thing. I love that there's an actual scarf on here.
So cool.
It would be cool to see LEDs on planes like this, but admittedly, you know, it's probably not gonna be that big a deal. If you really wanna put LEDs on, you can put LEDs on, but it's a lot harder because there's a wire down here that I would normally steal power to go out here, and I would normally want the LEDs in the outmost portion of the wing, so on the top wing. But that being said, just initial thoughts on the overall build quality. You take it out of the box, you put the battery in, you bind it to your transmitter, you're ready to go. You could literally have this in the air in 5 minutes if you weren't watching a Brian Phillips RC video, okay? Why is that windsock sitting still?
I don't know, because the wind is really
The wind is like really strong right now. What the heck is going on? That is so weird. Maybe it's lined up wrong. But all I'm gonna say is this, guys. We have so much in store for you. We're really excited to be able to share all these different upgrades that we're working on. And basically, we couldn't do it without your assistance. Well, we would just have to wait a lot longer.
Yeah.
And so to be honest with you, we're eternally grateful to you for all the links that you followed, for all the likes you've smashed, and for all the subscribership that you've given us, because those things help. They help us to have the weight we need to be able to work with the manufacturers. And so part of the reason that we're so happy to have you with us is because when we do these reviews, we're able to be totally honest with you. We tell you about gripes, but yet we keep in good relationship with these manufacturers. And that is a tough balancing act, okay? Unless it's Dynam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, we love this stuff. We love the hobby. We want to see everybody in the hobby. We want to see people winning in the hobby that are doing this for a business venture. We've said it before and we'll say it again. There are a million easier ways to make a dollar than in RC. Yeah. Okay? Everybody thinks working within a hobby realm is going to be like easy or fun. And there are fun things about it, but it's definitely hard because it's like everybody wants to do it. So for that reason, we just thank you for letting us be in front of you like this. Also, NX10 has been great as usual, even though the NX7E is probably going to take some of the luster off of something like this. If you're not into doing the more advanced planes, we understand and that makes sense, okay? So we're here to support you in that decision, but just keeping in mind it has airwear, it sets up almost exactly the same as this, okay? There's really not that much different to it, okay? But that being said, amazing plane. Good job, E-flite, in putting out another wonderful Ultra Micro. Yes, we do have flight footage of the red and white. We have an Unbox build radio setup for both, and we will show both. The radio setup for the NX7E is going to be on an NX video that should have released maybe right before this. But normally on UMX planes, we show the Unbox build and radio setup just at the end of the video.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
okay.
So there'll be two, you'll see this plane twice in two different videos, kind of.
So you'll see this beautiful thing and its twin sister in a different livery on this here video. So we hope you like it. I love this plane. It's really good. If you're not into biplanes, don't get it because it is definitely a biplane. It flies like a biplane. It's good like a biplane. And it's so funny because when I started in this hobby, I thought I'm not really that into to biplanes. And at the time, my grandpa built a few biplanes. And I was like, okay, those are pretty cool, but they never flew quite as good as these, okay?
Yeah.
These things fly really good. They're super fun. They have an extremely wide flight envelope. And I know you're gonna resist believing what I'm about to say, but you don't need flaps on planes like this. They just slow down really good. Now, we do sometimes put flaps, and there might be a conversation piece for a second thoughts where we throw in some flaperons if it's possible, but I really don't even care about it. This plane just flies great. By the way, center of gravity markings would be between about where my finger is and about where my finger is. So if you figure this box has 5 parts, go back 1 part and come back 1 part. And that's where your center of gravity is. So we might be, yeah, we're just right. It's very hard to check because of all this stuff going on in here, okay? And all that stuff going on there, which is awesome. But it also makes it really hard to test the center of gravity. So I'm gonna just go with, put the battery in, you'll be fine, fly the thing, enjoy life, enjoy your airplane. And guys, thanks so much for being part of this huge project that's going on behind the house. You will see it, you will see details, and you'll see probably more than you want. If it starts annoying you, please let me know, and we will kind of pump the brakes a little bit. But we'll have separate videos that cover that as well.
Yeah.
So guys, thanks so much for helping us make that happen. It's amazing. Oh, by the way, when that's done, there'll be an extension to the runway that way, a helipad that's actually just a place to turn around trucks and stuff and cars and extra parking. But I'm gonna shape it like a helipad because that's freaking awesome. And then someday I'm gonna have somebody land a helicopter there. So if you have a helicopter, definitely go to the About tab, click on my face. I'm not just saying this to blow smoke. I really wanna hear from you. Click on that. We've got 3 people that are gonna fly in on our full scale runway. We already have them lined up, okay? So if you wanna be the first heli pilot to land here, let us know. A Huey landed right there, just past those trees.
Yeah, on the other side of
Yeah.
right here.
They landed, that was a couple years ago. I was in my socks and I got onto the Varla scooter and ran out there and looked at it. I couldn't believe it. They got grounded by fog. So, I mean, you can land a helicopter here.
Really loud.
Right there. When there's a helipad, it's gonna be even better.
You have to finish. Go to the About tab.
Oh, so go to the About tab.
Go to BrianPhillipsRC.com.
Go to BrianPhillipsRC.com. Well, or you can just go to the About tab and you can see our email there. It's like a contact us.
Inquiry.
You have to go past the Ketcha.
Yep.
So once you get into the Ketcha, then it'll give you the email address and you can shoot us an email. I would say it, but then Google will probably like, you're trying to draw people away from our video footage and we're gonna go broke.
To our Gmail.
Yeah, to our Gmail, exactly. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Amazing planes. I don't know what order you're gonna see this. If you wanna support us, buy them from the links. If the links don't exist, Brian Phillips RC. It's very simple, BrianPhillips RC. It's spelled next to my name, okay?
Same way.
A lot of the comments get misspelled. I don't know if that's because you're using voice to text or speech to text, but it is spelled for you, just in case you're wondering. And then that is our domain, and it will show you all the different types of planes we've done, and then also the manufacturers. So like whichever way you want to sort so you can find what you need, you'll be able to find the video, you can make a decision. We also have the purchase links there too.
Yep.
And keep in mind, when you click the links, it just brings you to the website. Usually search results for something like this, so you can see both colors. And then whichever one you want, you can go in there. Or if you're looking for a manual and you need help figuring out how to set up or what size motor it has or any of that stuff, you can click on the link and then you can go over there and scroll down. They have a manual tab and then also spare parts tab.
Yes.
Okay. And if you follow the link, then we get credit when you do put something in your cart and then buy it ultimately. Okay. If you don't buy anything, it doesn't really change anything for us.
No.
But it is just a helpful tool for you. And so we do that completely selflessly. But anyway, that's right, just in case Google's watching. Anyway, that's all we have to say. If you haven't heard, YouTube is attacking us for our links. We're hopefully gonna get past this, but they've been so far completely useless. Yeah. All right, that's all we got for you. Amazing product, get one today. Thanks for watching, guys. Oh, and then I always forget to say this, I'm sorry. Patreon, PayPal, YouTube, super thanks, and YouTube members. YouTube keeps their cut, PayPal keeps their cut, Patreon keeps their cut. Just remember, the lowest cut is if we're friends and family. I like to know these things. I only say it because people ask. Best way to support us, buy from the links. Thanks, guys. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Look what we have for you today. We have not one, but two brand new from E-flite Wacos. Beautiful trim liveries. And if you are an Iowa Hawkeyes fan, eat your heart out, or even Iowa State. I'm pretty sure that's not what they were planning on.
Pretty sure not.
Yeah, in fact, I'm 100% sure. But that's okay. We're gonna fly the red one on this flight. We already did fly this with the NX10, but we also have something new and exciting. I'm gonna just hand that to the camera crew. We've got the NX7E. Yes, that's right. It did not come with the lanyard, full disclosure. That was something we added. And this is what we're gonna fly it on today in the red and white. So it's gonna be super exciting, flying on 3S, 300 milliamp hour, and this thing is absolutely fantastic. So can't wait to get in the air. We're gonna pause and put things away. Okay, so we're gonna fly this right now, and it's gonna be amazing. With the new NX7E, we've been super excited. We've heard about this Waco for a while, and we finally have them in our hands, and we were super excited that we were able to get samples of both colors, which is unusual. Now, NX7E has all the features you're gonna basically want, unless you want more channels and you need Wi-Fi. There's a couple other really small details, but check out the rest of our Unbox build radio setup with that plane and the NX-7E if you want to hear more details. Here we go. That's going to be the NX series lineup. Okay. Whoa. 3 steps forward. Thank you. Okay, I don't know if I have my tail wheels bent a little bit or something, but. All right, guys, that's about 40 to 50% throttle. We got a nice calm morning. Beautiful plane. Absolutely feels rock solid. We're an AS3X. This does come with safe. It's on the gear channel by default. I did reverse mine. That's 60 to 70% throttle on that climb out. Guys, this is 100%. See that? I would call that pretty much unlimited vertical. Oh, so good, guys. Oh, I'm super excited about this. Now, I gotta say, I love the way the yellow and black looks. It looks great in the sky, but this white looks really good too. And I gotta say, it looks good with the trees. What is that? Did somebody knock down a tree or two back there? Oh yeah, you may have heard we're digging our pond, which is pretty exciting stuff. And so we'll probably give you a sneak peek of that throughout the next few videos. But just love the way this plane flies. You can fly it in a tight spot if you want, but you don't have to fly in a tight spot to enjoy these beautiful UMX planes. You just have to understand they are ultra, micro, and they are extreme. Because obviously, when you get into these small planes, you can do pretty much whatever you want with some level of impunity. Now, I gotta say, it has not always been that way. It used to be a huge sacrifice in terms of controllability, power to weight ratio, and all sorts of other factors. But I'm gonna tell you this, they are getting so dang good, and they fly so dang good. I gotta say, this thing is well tuned. I have done no clicks of trim, and other than the takeoff where it wanted to jank a little bit to the left, or excuse me, to the right, I want to figure out if that was me or the controller or maybe a little gust of wind. They do bounce. Okay, so did you notice that too? Was that in my head?
No,
I wonder if my tail wheel is bent a little bit. By the way, the CG is kind of hard to test on this because the way these simulated cables are, but this is where we marked them out. So if you can get in there and like have a finger on both sides, you pretty much have a huge range. And we just put our 300 milliamp hour battery right up front. Now we do have a 5-minute timer, but we're not respecting it because we do have telemetry. So you can see your pack voltage as you're flying. That JST connector makes for better current flow too, which is kind of nice. And then obviously we have the full smart setup. The only thing we don't have now is thrust reverse, okay? So there's 2 minutes left on our 5.
I can't see your screen.
So this is what we're looking at. We're gonna try to make it so you can see. We can see this thing perfectly in person, but we can't see it because of the reflectiveness of the screen on camera.
I can see it there.
Okay, so you guys see? Great. All right, so also one of considering the NX-7E is that there's no lanyard, and if you're used to flying with a lanyard, I pretty much have to have one. I'm so used to it, but I also have to use my hands to carry planes, and we do our video stuff, so it does add an extra layer of challenge for us. Okay, let's see if we can get this thing to take off a little better. We did. That's good. And guys, I don't know if you can tell, it's not like I'm pushing it to fly in this tight envelope here. Go behind us this time. But one thing I can tell you about this Waco is it feels rock solid. Now, if you're buying this and you want to see if safe is what you need, I'll go ahead and turn safe on. See how it automatically leveled the aircraft? Let me get a little bit of altitude here. We'll try to keep it low for the trees. And then as you can see, when I let go, it just automatically levels the plane. Okay, now that's not part of the controller so much as it is part of the plane. So don't think it's got anything to do with the 7E. We have that set up on the NX-10. And also just keep in mind, we're still gonna probably push you toward the NX-10 because we need 10 channels on a lot of planes anymore. And when I say a lot, I mean 6 or 7 of them so far, but there's more coming. And that's part of the reason why I wanna make sure you guys are making good decisions that are gonna get you where you wanna go. This plane flies really good. I love flying it. It's definitely one of the best UMX planes I've ever flown, and we've flown a lot of them. The P-51 Voodoo is probably the next most capable, I would say, because just look at the ups, guys. And I'm sorry, it's just a blue sky camera crew. You know it's gonna be hard. There's just like almost unlimited vertical. I don't know that I would call it completely unlimited because I'm sure eventually it would stall out. And then the other thing is I have trouble greasing the landings on this. And it could just be because I'm pushing it, or maybe we've got just a very slight crosswind. You see how I have to lift up the one wheel first, and that gets me where I wanna be. Also, I just wanna point out something about flying in tight environments. When you're sub 250, you can fly in tight environments and you don't have to worry about some federal agent like Rambo showing up. What are you doing with that toy airplane? Do you have your licensing? Nope, I just have to jump in my paramotor and go fly home. Exactly, and then the federal agent signs off. But that being said, guys, sub 250, it allows you to give them the one finger salute on the way out of the park. It's gonna be amazing. So that being said, flying for recreation, I believe is kind of what they say. And I'm like, okay, is there anybody that's flying small little tiny souls? I don't think so. And I'm sick and tired of the federal government making up stuff out of their butts. So we're just gonna treat it like it is. Look at how nice the speed range is too. Good flight envelope up and over. Good roll rate. It's not the fastest we've ever seen, but it definitely does the trick. It gets the job done. You have plenty of rudder authority. Let's do a stall turn here. Going up. Oh yeah, beautiful. You can flip it on a dime. It's just amazing. Now, can you do a hammerhead with this thing? Or a prop hang, I mean? Let's try that. Yeah, a little bit more rudder authority would help with that. But also better execution would help with that too. Okay, we'll try to keep it low here. I would say that's good. So if you were better at prop hangs, you could do them no problem. And I gotta say, I mean, it just flies flawlessly. And by the way, okay, so I'm gonna turn safe on, and I'm just gonna show you the limits of the bank angles. Okay, so here's the limit left, here's the limit right roll, limit up, okay? Now I'm at 50% throttle now. I'm gonna show you limit down at no throttle. That's limit down. Pretty good limits, guys. You could still fly this. You're just gonna have to throw the sticks a little bit further to the sides. And also, if you're flying in safe, you're gonna wanna make sure you have like no expo on. Okay, out of safe now. I can't tolerate it too much longer. Guys, when you're brand new to the hobby and you're using safe, you're gonna think, I'm never gonna get away from it. And then as soon as you get away from it, you'll be like, what the heck was I thinking? It's so weird because as your brain figures out how to do this stuff, you figure out you want the control authority more than you want the assistance. And it's so weird because you eventually get to a point when you're flying and you just don't think about what you're doing, you just do it. It's very strange, it's hard to explain, and that's why it's so easy to forget how hard it is to learn to fly. And that's part of the reason why we always point out the fact that safe is here. We always set up safe when we do radio setup, because we know most of you guys that are watching are either returning to the hobby and might want a little bit of help, or you're brand new to the hobby and you might need a little bit of help. You got to keep a little bit more airspeed for knife edges. I was just trying to kind of explore the waters with those last 2 or 3 passes. Okay, so I'm gonna get into a knife edge here. There you go. That's about all the elevator, or excuse me, about all the rudder you got though. So you're pretty much full throttle if you want to do that knife edge, unless you got a little bit of wind to help you. So you can do it. It's just, you definitely are in it hard for throttle and you're in it hard for rudder. So now I gotta say, the UMX Pitts is another fun flying UMX plane. Definitely does a really good job, and we're definitely getting close to low voltage cutoff, so I'm gonna go ahead and land. And so if you guys are torn between the Pitts and the Waco, I don't blame you. And I gotta say, one thing about this plane that I'm not crazy about is it is kind of hard to get to land soft. Now, I think I might have a little bit of a misalignment on my wheels. That might be drawing it to do that a little bit because you'll bite and then it pulls. You'll bite and it pulls. And I can think of a couple other planes that we've reviewed in the past that really liked to do that, namely the Rangers. I don't know why, because they're tricycles. And if you look at the way these tires are set up, they're actually pretty soft tires, okay? Now ours show a little bit more wear as well because this is a prototype test unit. So it's gonna be exactly like the ones you guys get, but the only difference is this one wasn't available for sale, so they had used it for testing, okay? So very good. I'm super impressed with how basically exactly the same the NX7 feels. And I think that the big ticket item for most of you is gonna be, do you need the channels? If you need the channels, you need the channels, okay? So you're gonna need a bigger, more robust radio system. You're gonna get features that you may not need, like Wi-Fi. But I'm gonna tell you one thing about this. There's a USB-C on the back, that's nice. There's a weird release on the bottom. You see that little tab thing? You have to pull that out with your fingernails. And then that releases your battery opening. And that also allows you to pull this thing off and this thing off, and you can make your adjustments to your sticks. We'll go into more detail in our Unbox build radio setup for both the Wacos, and then as well in our NX lineup update, which is gonna include the 7E. We also do some comparisons side by side between the 10 and the 7E to help you guys make your best decision possible. But that being said, we are gonna hang up this video and we're gonna jump right into the NX10 and do some more flight in the high light conditions. And we hope you guys will stay tuned. We should have at least 2, maybe 3 flights, possibly 4, depending on what weather cooperates for us. But I gotta say, I really enjoy the way this plane flies. It's very predictable. It's very easy to fly. It's just a little bit hard to grease the landings. And I think I'm gonna try on the yellow and black one, but I'm wondering if maybe there's just a little bit something going on with the alignment of the wheels on this unit. But they are reinforced by carbon fiber, it looks like. So it's carbon fiber and then carbon fiber and carbon fiber. So I'm not sure that there's gonna be a whole lot of adjustment there beyond maybe heating it up and just giving it a little bend. But so far, I really like the quality of the build. And the only thing I'm just realizing, if you were watching the NX series video, I didn't kick my throws down to 97%, which I usually do on elevator, rudder, and ailerons for anything that uses linear long throw servos, because that helps to preserve them. These things have a tendency of they corkscrew out, and that's how they positionally change. And what happens is if they corkscrew just past the range for like a microsecond, they can sometimes get stuck. And I've only had that happen a couple of times, but I know some of you guys have struggled with it a little bit more. It'll increase the longevity of your servos. So I'm gonna probably do that on this transmitter. And if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash the like button. Click the bell for notifications when you're subscribing. And then also, because we've been fighting with Google about links, we hope they're in the video description below, but if they're not, you can check out brianphillipsrc.com, which is our website. And by the way, Google, if you're listening, all that website does is it directs people right back here, so don't freak out, okay? You'll have plenty of money, I promise. But if you wanna help us and buy these things from the links in the video description below, we'll link to the plane. It'll show search results for either the red and white or the yellow and black, okay? And then we'll also link to the battery that we prefer, which is the 3S. I would highly recommend on this plane the 3S over, of course, the 2S. But remember, if you have old batteries that have the micro pH connector, you gotta get the micro pH to JST adapter. And that's gonna allow you to fly off of your old E-flite, 2S packs, and the older Spectrum Smart that aren't actually smart batteries, okay? They just look like they're smart, okay? These don't have the smart chip in them, okay? All right, guys, hopefully that answers all your questions. NX7 seems to be awesome. So if you wanna get into something that's budget friendly, it's gonna get you working for a while, but eventually you're gonna get into a 10-channel plane and you're gonna want the 10 channels. So that is the only serious consideration for you. Otherwise, 7 channels is gonna do the vast majority of planes that we review, and you'll just have to make a decision on what you wanna give up in terms of features. So my suggestion is, if you like the NX7 even a little bit, which by the way, I must admit, I used to, for most of the time it's been out, I've been making fun of its looks. when you get it in person and you hold it in your hands, it actually looks pretty good. And the light, there's a light that surrounds this gray, and it's kind of cool, and it shows you like your charging status and stuff. So admittedly, I was making fun of how ugly it was, but then I started using it and I'm like, this is a pretty dang good value compared to the other offerings. So, I mean, if you ask me, the rubber on the back here, it doesn't seem like a big deal until you fly a lot. And also this white is gonna get dirty, okay? If they would have done the dark on the outside and the white on the inside, I think they might have still been able to get that cow look they were going for, but then they would have gotten the texture. The textured spots would not get dirty as fast. Because keep in mind, if you're out at the flight field, you're touching stuff, you've got, you know, like oil and gas and stuff like that, it's gonna make these things dirty really quick. But you might be able to clean it easier since it's just plastic instead of being rubber. But I'm gonna tell you what, I want that little rubber there because that's gonna give you texture to help with grip. I can hold this fine, but it's pretty warm out today. And I'm not, you know, all dried out and calloused from being in the middle of winter yet. I will be, but I'm, you know, not there yet. So anyway, just a few thoughts for you guys to consider if you're thinking about it, and one more beautiful look before we get ready to come back out with the yellow and black. Are you ready, camera crew? Any other thoughts?
Nope, looks
okay,
good.
we'll be right back. And I almost forgot to say, guys, we'll have the planes, batteries, transmitters down in the video description below. And if you want to support us in other ways, I always forgot to mention that because I don't know what video is going to go first. And that's just one thing we've always done is we try to show these things as best we can, but we show all the footage we get, okay? Even if I crash into that tree over there, which seems to be the tree that survived the tree removal, is the one that takes all my planes down, which is funny. And then that one over there, which doesn't belong to us. Yeah. Okay, so we have Patreon, PayPal, YouTube members, and YouTube super thanks. Okay, remember, YouTube, they're keeping their cut. Patreon's keeping their cut, PayPal's keeping their cut, unless of course you go with friends and family, and then they keep nothing. So if you're big about efficiency, we understand. I'm the same exact way when I support people. I wanna make sure that the money's going to them and not to some like third party like PayPal or like Patreon or like YouTube. But that being said, the best way you can support us is to support the brands that we work with because they make some good products, and I want them to win, and I want the hobby to win. And part of the way we can make this hobby win is when we have good products, we reward them by buying them, okay? And if we buy good products, they're gonna buy and make more products that are good products, and they're not gonna make crappy ones. And that's part of the reason why you're here. I know it is. If you wanna know if it's good, you'll come here first, you'll make your final decision here. If we help talk you in or out of it, don't forget to smash the like button. And if we talk you into it, follow the links. Thanks, guys. We'll be back with the next one. YouTube, it's double trouble from Brian Phelps RC. Thanks for being here with us. This is going to be amazing. The Waco, pronounced like taco. And yes, there is a scarf.
Yes.
Amazing. And yes, there is another one. I can't believe it. We've got 2 colors, 2 trim liveries. We almost never get that from E-flite, but I'm so happy to be involved and doing this right now. So we're gonna lay this down and come right back. We will review this one as well as this one, but this one is the colors we wanna review first. All right, so we're gonna start with the yellow and black one, which looks totally sweet, totally painted. And we are flying on 3S, just so you guys can see. 3S, got a little Velcro in there. We're gonna plop this down, 3S 300. And without further ado, I can't wait to fly this. Okay, safe is off. It does come with safe select on the gear switch. Everything's tested. Oh yeah, in the air already, no problem. What a gorgeous looker, guys. Oh man, that is so dang good, guys. Whoa, I'm loving it. It's windy too, by the way. Okay, just bringing it down. Man, that thing is a floater. I have to like push it down. Talk about beautiful. That's like 30% throttle.
Wow.
Okay, here we go. I am totally unsafe. What the heck? Am I unsafe?
You reversed it, so it should be like your standard.
No, I know, but it's like, I don't know if I just like can't get it to, it's like in auto leveling. Okay, so like, I'm out of safe now. There we go, guys. I'm out of safe now. Oh man. And we do have a little bit of wind tonight, full disclosure. Let's go over into the bowl, camera crew. Now you guys may have noticed a little bit of tree work over here. Guys, they are working on the pond. It's happening. That is so cool. So I gotta say, I feel like there's so much elevator looking. Look at this elevator, how much I got down on there. With auto leveling on, of course, I couldn't feel that. And being that this is a UMX, it definitely, I'm just trying to get the trim there. There we go. Being that this is a UMX, it is like feeling very solid, like almost like I need to take all the Expo out. Love the yellow, by the way. That's about half stick for roll rate, by the way. Plenty of power on 3S. I would not fly it on 2. I need you to come about 2 steps toward me. Right there, get your hand out. Love it. %30 throttle there. Whoa, buddy. I got kicked by the wind there. And gotta say, UMXs are not usually great in the wind, but this thing is holding up just fine. And this is probably the lowest wind we've had. Okay, I wanna see how slow I can fly this thing. Whoa, 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 whoa. I wonder if the scarf got me on that. Camera crew out in the middle. Thank you. Right. So if you guys are excited to see the pond and you're excited for the Waco, leave it in the comments below. This plane is something that's long anticipated by Megan and I, and we finally got our fingers on it. And we just love the fact that there's 2 colors, and we just so happen to be Iowa Hawkeye football fans. And so what better way to celebrate your favorite team than getting an airplane that's literally painted the colors of your favorite team. That is so much fun.
Maybe if they win.
One of these years. They're gonna be down 1 offensive coordinator.
Might help.
Might help a little bit. Oh, goodness gracious. Now we're gonna start controversy.
Great.
YouTube's gonna come after us for that too. So guys, if you haven't heard, we love doing these reviews. That's why we've done like 1,900 videos. They're not all reviews. Some of them are other things like building houses and stuff and weed whackers and leaf blowers, but those are kind of the rarities. Folks, usually what we do is we fly airplanes. Look at that inside out loops, guys. 1 minute left on the timer for 5 minutes, but that doesn't really mean much because the truth is we do have a display with telemetry data that helps us to know how much battery we have left. Now this is on a 3S 300 milliamp hour. Let's go over into the bowl. I gotta say the thing flies really solid for being UMX. Like it's almost unbelievable how solid it feels. I kind of almost want it to be more touchy. Wonder if I need to push the battery back a little bit further. It's just so easy to fly and it's windy out here. I thought it was gonna be calm, but then of course Mother Nature was like, no soup for you. And I gotta say, I really like the way it's flying. It looks good. It's gonna look even better when it's calm because it's really getting ditched around in the turbulence. And this is our 5-minute timer coming up, but that doesn't really mean much yet. But we will be able to establish about the flight time to expect for you. Okay, let's try landing. Oh yeah, so easy guys. Okay, so let's bring this right over. Oh, by the way, we might also review the NX7E on this other plane, the red and white one. So that will be coming up. If you wanna see parts, bits and pieces in comparison to the NX10, we'll show that in the Unbox build radio setup that will follow directly after this. But without further ado, we got 30% battery left. Let's see how it taxis on the ground. Full up elevator. Oh yeah, feels very good. Good taxiability. Now there is a little bit of wind we're fighting, so it's not wanting to turn quite as sharp as I'd like, but absolutely love the way this thing flies. You don't have to jank it in the air. The landing gear are strong enough to do their job, and gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I love all the cables between the wings. It looks so realistic. Let's try stall turn here. Oh, it's perfect. Guys, I love the way this plane is flying, and it's not calm at all. It should be flying terrible, and yet it's doing almost perfect. And I think that's kind of the moral of the story as it pertains to UMX planes and their expectancy, because Ultra Micro Extreme is basically a branding effort by E-flite, and they've really done a good job with these. They end up being a little bit more brittle than some of the other offerings, like for instance, the Stoll Apprentice 700 millimeter, which just recently released. That plane is gonna be made out of EPO instead of EPS. And you're gonna get a good, strong brushless motor on that. So if you're brand new to the hobby and you need a little something to get you up in the air, that would be an amazing choice. Or if you want something that's gonna be great for you as a more experienced pilot, probably something like in the middle, this would be perfect. And to be honest, it's pretty easy to fly. In fact, I'm gonna turn safe back on. I can't believe how good it flew in safe. I thought I was out of safe, but I wasn't. Okay, so let's just show them what safe is. If you don't know what safe is, it's sensor-aided or sensor-assisted flight envelope. And what that does is it limits your bank angles, and then like right here, when I let go, it levels the plane. So when I let go of the stick, the plane just goes straight and level, okay? So I'm hands off and it's just flying itself, okay? Now the other thing is, what you probably aren't aware of, because I don't often fly at a range, okay, I'm out of safe now. So now that I'm out of safe, I can do loops and rolls, and all the different cool things that you want to do as a pilot that as a beginner pilot you don't want to necessarily do, because loops and rolls are usually on their way to a crash, okay? Now also there's tons of turbulent air that comes off the edge of the garage there. So I am just amazed at how well this thing is doing. What do you think, camera crew?
It's beautiful. I love yellow planes though.
I do too. I love yellow planes.
I'm really surprised at how it's handling the wind.
I know, I thought it was gonna be just janked all over the place. Now, it's not a powerhouse. It's not like gonna be similar to the Voodoo P51, for instance, which is also UMX. But I mean, look how solid this is. If you fly it with some speed, then you're gonna be golden. Now, I gotta say, on a calm night, there's our low voltage warning, critically low, but it's not actually low enough to stop it from flying. And there's no pulsing yet. I just want to see if I can get this thing to hammerhead, I would be really happy. Okay, I'm gonna try hammerhead kind of a long ways up. I'll go up here with this cloud so you guys can see better. Oh yeah, you can hammerhead that all day if you're a better pilot than me.
But you're not going like full throttle the whole time.
No, I'm really not. I'm like, right now, I'm flying maybe at like 60 to 70 and then bursts of 100%. Okay. Let's try another landing here, guys. Okay. Just to show you how short you can land this, let's bring it in. Woo, that was terrible. I'm not taking that. Man, that looks so dang good. But look at this, guys. I can turn in the front yard, no problem. And by the way, sub 250, we did measure it. It's about 104 grams. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be a little lighter than that, but I think the paint kind of adds a little bit. And I gotta say, guys, the paint is worth it, and you're never gonna know any better. I want to drag the mains. Come on, give me something. Give me some here. It's giving me the critically low, and I should land, but I'm gonna be a bad boy and just bring it around again. Here we go, guys. I want this perfect. Give me a perfect landing, please. Come on, you got it. You got it. It just wants to bounce because the tires must be just soft enough. But what an amazing flight experience, folks. Even the little scarf hanging out the back, I kind of wish it was a little bright, a little more vivid. We may have to take and do a little piece of ribbon that's like red or something, because I feel like the white looks really nice, but it definitely is not showing much.
Yeah.
And by the way, I gotta say, I feel like it's got plenty of power. It's got amazing looks. It does well in the wind. We're gonna definitely try for some more footage when we can get you a little bit better lighting. But I gotta say, what an amazing product. UMX planes almost always outdo themselves from the previous ones we've had. And this one breaks no rules in that regard. It is definitely as good as I want it to be. The only thing that I would like to see a little bit better on this plane is I feel like the simulated motor is a little bit questionable. That being said, easy to change. I can take and print a simulated motor on paper and glue it down easy enough. But beyond that, I love the way the thing goes together. It's got a huge prop, it's got tons of power, 3S, 2S, configurable. It's no big deal to set it up on the radio system, so it's in the air in literally minutes, unless you're Brian Phillips RC, and then it's like hours. But awesome plane, really excited to be bringing you this plane and planes just like it all the time on Brian Phillips RC. And we hope you guys enjoy the content. May have mentioned this before, but we'll link to this in the video description below. If for some reason the link doesn't show up, Brian Phillips RC is our domain, it's our website. So you can go over there and we'll have links to it here and there. But if Google would decide you don't get no soup, then it'll be there. So all you have to do is just go to brianphillipsrc.com. That's B-R-I-A-N, Phillips, P-H-I-L-L-I-P-S, rc.com. Very simple domain, and you can check it out there, and we will link. And that way we get small commissions from the different companies that we work with when you buy from those links. So that being said, also we have Patreon, PayPal, YouTube membership, and YouTube super thanks if any of those meet your fancy. But we have always and will always say the best way to support Brian Phillips RC is watch a video, smash the like button, come back for more, and then of course when you like them, buy them from the links so we get credits from these manufacturers. And that's basically how we fund small dinky projects, which we're going to give you just a quick look at this, guys. There is going to be a whole video on it. So without further ado, there'll be more on the Waco. Well, let's Waco around the house. Sorry, the puns are kind of flowing today, aren't they?
They are.
As you can see, the storm came through last night. Just kidding, guys. That's why we moved those trees, in case you didn't already know. So I think what we might need to do is we might need to pause and we'll come right back so I can lay this plane down. Okay, so we're outside again, obviously, and we've got this nice, super high professional rig here. That's awesome, guys. Come on out. This will be, oh, by the way, if you didn't know, that's how we get our internet now. Okay. We have a Starlink up there too, but since we're out in the middle of the sticks, they don't just run fiber to your house for free. So that's the start. It's not done, obviously, but that's how they have to start, is by taking out trees. There's a small little dinky pile over there, and then there's a few trees that are left, and it's like heartbreaking to realize that those trees are gonna be gone. And they're not small, okay? They're huge. And that's part of the reason why we moved these trees up here. If you guys are curious about this, we're gonna have an entire build series on just the pond. But obviously the Waco is an amazing product. We don't mean to take anything away from it, but this is a huge product as part of the Brian Phillips RC thing, okay? So it starts with this, and there's 2 or 3 other things that we have in mind: a helipad, extension of the runway, the dam runway, which is gonna go across the dam, which is over there. We can show you those marks quick. And then there should be a dam gift shop over there, which is gonna be a 60 by 80 by 20 building. That's gonna give us a place to store the planes that are currently using up most of our basement, where the kids hang out when we're filming. So we need to make room for them.
The kids.
The kids. And
can live somewhere else.
But seriously though, this is really happening. It's getting very real. And we've been working on this for how long? Since March, right? So if it was like since March, look at the sticks. This is just the sticks on the ground. Yeah, this is all from today, from just flinging over.
Flinging trees.
Just like all over. And as you can see, we've got, just tons of stuff gone. And it's incredible to us because when I left for work this morning, these trees were here. And then when I got home from work, and by the way, this is the type of tree we're talking about. It doesn't look like much until you're standing in it. And I can tell you this, on camera, it doesn't look like much, but guys, like, look at this stick. Okay, so this stick is waist high to give you some scale. That's why this is gonna be so cool, because it's gonna be big and it's gonna give us another area, a venue with which to enjoy an outlet for RC. Okay, we're gonna be able to do boats, float equipped planes, and hopefully we won't be so tight in our clearances. That's why we put the tree line up there. And we're gonna move over there. You can see the cherry, because right now from this angle you can see it. But where we fly from, you normally can't see it. Zoom on the cherry. That cherry is moving over there. And so we're gonna have an even better approach on the runway, which is super exciting. And yes, it's all part of the big project, but if you walk with us real quick, I know the lighting's gonna get kind of bad, but as you can see, this is crazy, the amount of sticks over here. We were trying to save these trees, it just didn't work out. We gotta try to save that cherry if we can. That's such a pretty tree. No, I mean, just keep it. We just won't take that spot.
Oh.
But as you can see, that hole, that isn't even digging for the pond yet, folks.
No, this is just
that's just getting trees out,
yeah.
okay? And I don't know if you can tell, but like this is a small tree here, okay? This is a small tree. That tree over there, that tree is on the edge of the bank and it's probably twice as tall as this one.
The tallest tree we have.
It might be, well, in this part of the yard. Over there, there's more, and over there, there's more.
The low point, that's the tall part.
Yeah. So this is what we couldn't really show because you couldn't see it.
Right.
And as you can see, another relatively tall tree straight up. And these are the trees we're trying to save. I don't think we're gonna be able to save all of them. This is another amazing cherry tree. And it's funny because when we fly, we'll be able to potentially fly from there now, which is pretty exciting. So we're just kind of dying for this to be done and have been dying for it to be done for some time. But that's kind of expansive nowadays.
It's unrecognizable in one
Yeah, in one day. It is incredible to see the amount of work that a 55,000 pound excavator and a couple of bulldozers, that only one of which was being run.
Yeah.
So what we might do is we might pause and just jump to the other side because it'll take us long enough to walk around. Well, actually, let's just walk. We'll just walk. So really the dam is gonna start where that stake is, okay? So this is one of the knolls. And you see where the stake is, that becomes the center of the dam, okay? So we're gonna lose some more trees here. And then those trees, which are healthier and straighter, are gonna stay, okay? So this is where the dam location is gonna be the center, not the elevation, but the center. And then the other stake is on right about there, okay? So it's gonna go to the crest of this knoll.
Right in there.
Yep. And just to give you an idea, this is the little hole that we would fly through from the backyard to the front yard. And it's like, it's incredible to see this stuff change just this fast. And up there, it's just super cool because what you guys don't get to see is like when I'm out here mowing the lawn and I get to come up here and I just see all these views from down, it's beautiful. I love it. But we hardly ever fly down here. Well, the reason we don't fly down here is because the lighting never works out. Well, when this dam is here, that's gonna be another crosswind strip. It's gonna be super handy. And then we'll also have, on the end of that, there should be some parking area in front of the big building. And that's gonna give us another potential access point. So like when the sun is coming up, we can be where the sun is shining in our work, but not necessarily blinding you. And the same thing, we film into the sunset, which is beautiful in the right sunsets, but in the wrong sunsets, it makes it almost impossible to film. So I know this is somewhat inside baseball, and I know that sometimes these projects could come across wrong. We don't want them to come across wrong. But when we do a giant project that you guys have helped make happen, and I'm not talking about just paying for it. There's certain amounts that are paid for by our proceeds from the YouTube channel, but it's generally paid for by Megan and I. And then there's like small little bits that get paid by YouTube. At the end of the day, we understand that it wouldn't be possible without your support. And I'm not talking about money support. I'm talking about watching the videos, coming back, helping us to have what we have here on this channel, which is an amazing audience of 128,000 right now, roughly. And the power of having an audience that size opens up opportunities that you might not otherwise experience, which is really cool. And so we can't thank you enough. When we do these projects, we want you guys to see the fruits of partly your labor. I mean, a lot of it is on us and from decades of doing without, so that we can make all this stuff happen, and having a good day job and these sort of things, and then having a wonderful camera crew who helps me to be able to do those things. So all this stuff comes together, and if you work long enough and hard enough, then some of these projects are possible. But anyway, enough about that. We're gonna show you from the other side, because that tree pile doesn't look very big until you're standing next to it, and it's like taller than me by twice. So we'll go do that right now. Okay, so part of the reason we're showing this now, you can see the trees we moved. This is the first, is that 7 or 6? 7, we've got 6 more picked out. These trees, we're gonna lose this shelf. And this is gonna be what's called the silt pond. And it's gonna be a submerged rock dam underneath the water. And then the silt will settle. And then instead of filling up the giant pond, it just fills up the tip of it. And you can get an excavator in there and clean it out. Otherwise, a pond this size to clean out might cost 3 times as much as it costs to build the pond. And that's not an exaggeration. Just ask somebody if you don't know anything about ponds. We've learned a lot about this crap, but we're still not experts by any means. I just want to show you how big this tree is here quick, because when it comes to scale, it's hard to get scale when you're standing right next to it, okay? We didn't want to lose these trees, but we're gonna do it because it's gonna make for an amazing experience on Brian Phillips RC, and we hope you guys can see that. So we'll walk down to the pile and show you that next. Okay, so this is one of our lot markers here, okay? This is gonna be underwater, and this pond's gonna be out there a little bit, like 15, 20 feet. And that's gonna be the where it widens out, okay? So that's just to give you a quick reference point. So you can see the house from here, just to give you an idea of where we are. And then where we filmed, the SR-71 was up there at the crest of the hill recently. We also filmed the P40 from FMS up there. And then we filmed the Flash, the Optera. There's not been a ton that we filmed in the back, but we're gonna be able to do that more now. So this pile is what we wanna show you before we call it quits. And the reason we're showing this tonight is because it's gonna change again tomorrow. And it's gonna be a huge change. And we feel like, hey, you know, if you guys wanna know what's going on, we wanna share it. And this is a really exciting thing. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's just, to us, it's huge. So we'll pause while we walk. All right, that's where the dam is gonna be. And the dam road is gonna follow on top of the dam exactly. And then there's gonna be a helipad, which is really just a place to turn around vehicles. Because if you make a 90-degree turn on a concrete paved driveway, also known as a runway, and then you go down the dam runway, which is at, let's call it 93 degrees, or 94 degrees, or maybe 90, or I don't know the exact degrees, then you're gonna have a heck of a time turning with the trailer. And so if we do a helipad, we put 4, 5, 6 yards extra concrete into the extra perimeter, but it also makes a place when family comes to visit to park in those areas. So it's just really a win-win for everything. And then I can paint a giant H and it's just awesome. So anyway, if anybody's trying to talk their wife into a helipad, these are all arguments that I've used. Yeah, suddenly, eventually you'll get one. So guys, this is the tree pile here. So these were the trees you saw out of our dining room area and living room. And it goes all the way to the other side. And I'm 6 foot tall for comparison. And these trees, they moved the entire thing on the ground with the bulldozer, one at a time. It was something else to watch because this pile is huge. So if you've ever thought about building a pond, just keep in mind, it can be a big job or it can be a smaller job. And I think these guys are well equipped to give us a good result. And we are excited to share the progress. And we hope you guys are too. We hope you're not bored by this stuff. And that's why we're just putting little tidbits in our regular RC videos. But there will be more videos that you can check out at your leisure. We've also had videos about when we built our house and videos about a bridge that we built over here, which fell and like immediately and died. And then a bridge over here that we still use to this day. We've driven tractors over it repeatedly. We've driven vehicles over it. It's pretty cool. So just think all the fun bridges we could have built with all this crap.
It's our only bridge now.
That's right, because the kid bridge is gone. It's in the pile.
They can't hear me, sorry.
Oh, her mic is dead, and mine is probably dying too. But all we've got to say is thanks, guys, for helping make this happen. Let's come up here. I know it's gonna be dark, but just give them a shot of the equipment there. It's pretty incredible to have that much equipment just chilling here. I wish I had equipment like that. I wish it was mine, because I would constantly be doing fun projects. But the truth is, I would also be constantly spending money on diesel that I don't have. So at the end of the day, I'm glad it's somebody else doing it, because they get to break $4,000 worth of teeth off their excavator in one day, and not me.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all we've got for today. We're gonna go inside and set up probably the NX7E, right?
After our mics charge.
After our mics charge. And we'll have that thing ready with the red and white Waco. It's gonna be awesome. We don't know how this video is gonna come together, what order it's gonna go in, but we're super, super excited to be sharing this with you. And we're super excited to be living this life. And we know that you guys are rooting for us, especially with our woes with Google right now and YouTube. And so if you're looking for ways to support us and you haven't figured it out yet, the easiest ways are smash a like button, watch videos. I know that seems counterintuitive because we're like paying the giant essentially to treat us like subjects, but this is just kind of the nature of the beast. Like I said, if they weren't attacking our links right now, we wouldn't care. We would just be normal subjects. But since they are attacking our links, which is a huge part of the revenue stream for us in our small business here, and it helps us to compensate for the 40, 50, 60 hours a week that my camera crew, my wonderful wife, is putting in on this channel. And also for me, you can only have so many planes, guys. Let's be honest. I love planes. Uh-oh, did the mic die?
Yeah, it's real close.
So guys, if you want to support us, buy from the links as long as they exist. If they don't exist, go to brianphillipsrc.com. That's our domain, and you can find the links there. They'll be exactly the same links. Nothing really changes for you. The only thing that changes is that Google is afraid you're going to click away from the videos. We don't want to have you guys not watching YouTube videos. We have 1,900 of them processed and ready to go. So Google is just mixed up right now. They're having a bad time. We're hoping that they snap out of it like they did with limited or no monetization, which pretty much creamed them the last time they did one of these stupid moves. And that was where you had a yellow circle like this, and basically people were getting hit with all sorts of weird violations that nobody seemed to understand. They eventually shut that down because it was so terrible. They've done the exact same thing again, except they're really, really, really hurting creators now. So here we are. All right, guys, that's all you get for today. Did I list off the things? I did. Yep. So we know you're going to help us how you can, and we appreciate you, especially if you're already a Patreon, already a YouTube member. We appreciate you guys, especially just putting out that monthly support. It helps us. And projects like this are just, they're on a totally different level. It's probably the biggest construction project we've done, short of building the house, but we had a general contractor for that. And so as a result, even though we came in and pretended to be general contractors, we are the generals on this. So it's just a different thing. And it's very stressful. So, all right, guys, that's all you get. Thanks for watching. So much more to come from Brian Phillips RC. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We've got a box here, and it's gonna be amazing. And I'm super excited for this one. We hope you guys are having a great day. We had kind of an interesting day. We'll talk more about it in a few minutes. Oh, we have a packing slip in here. We'll just grab that out of here. Don't know what the heck that's all about, but we'll put that out of the way. Now, don't be surprised when the box is plain. It is totally plain. Okay, so get ready for some tacos. That's so lame. All right, here it is, guys. Oh yeah, that is so sweet. There's a little thing. What is this thing called? There's a scarf on it. So it's the Waco, not to be confused with the Waco, which is how I would say it, which is wrong. Yes. So this is the Waco, like a taco, hence the taco intro. Oh yes, it looks so gorgeous. And if you're a fan of college football and you're so unfortunate to be an Iowa fan like me, then this is perfect for the Iowa Hawkeyes, or like the Pittsburgh Steelers, or who else is this color? I don't know, there's a millions of them.
Yeah.
But yes, this thing is so sweet. Look at this, we have little guy wires that look like they're actual functional. And then yes, that is a real scarf. I pity the poor guy who had to tie those on. That looks so good. Wow, I can't wait to fly this thing.
Really cool.
And just to be clear, UMX planes stand for Ultra Micro Extreme from E-flite, and that is exactly what they are. They fly on 2 or 3S. There is a piece of Velcro right here, okay? The unboxes are really in-depth for unboxings, builds, and radio setups.
I know it hasn't even been 2 minutes yet.
And the plane's pretty much done.
My favorite.
That's actually the way we like it. Okay, so we got a piece of Velcro.
Okay.
You can keep these boxes. Your box is gonna have artwork on it, don't worry. And ours actually does have a manual. So that is something that we're not used to getting sometimes on these early samples. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna whip this thing out and see what we've got underneath here. Okay, so we have a manual from E-flite. One of the things that we really like about E-flite, camera crew is gonna dig into that while I get this tape off my hands. And should we break them the news about the other thing?
What's our news?
The other thing.
Oh.
No, the other thing. The other thing.
There's too many other things going on, hun.
Not the other thing, but the other thing.
I don't know. Are we? Or are we gonna wait? See how this goes.
What? Oh, really?
I don't know.
I think what we should do is we should make this the unboxing extraordinaire. I can't wait to fly this thing. That looks so dang good.
Really
Fully
cool
painted
looking.
body, absolutely gorgeous. And love the way the prop looks. It's flat. And I just love how big the prop is. It's like got presence. And I cannot wait to see this in the air. Love yellow planes.
Yes.
It does look like it's gonna be a little bit hard to differentiate the top from the bottom because it looks very symmetrical. And super light, I might add. So if you're wondering, I know now that I said it out loud, let's measure and see how heavy it is with our disgusting kitchen scale. Let's just get it tested right now.
You wanna guess?
I think I know what it's gonna be.
95.
Nope. 103. That means that with the battery, you're definitely sub 250, and that's no joke, guys.
Awesome.
So sub 250 means no remote ID requirements, none of that crap if you're flying for recreational use. So that being said, we got a couple of batteries over here. We'll go ahead and weigh those batteries too, just to show by the time, what were we, 104,
103.
103? Okay. So the biggest battery that I believe would be recommended would be the 300 milliamp hour 3S. And so we just plop that on there, 25 grams.
Nice.
So we're gonna be well within the range. That is crazy. This weighs a quarter as much as the plane.
The plane.
Isn't that nuts? So let's go ahead and show how the battery goes in this. Have to assume it's right on the front like normal. Really well hidden. I love the way that worked. You guys see that? That is so cool. And then JST connection, okay, which is always nice. And that goes back to the multi-purpose brick. So they do have this big giant part number and safety warning, and then brushless motor. If you could come over here a little bit closer, that'd be great. I'll flip this plane upside down. SPMXA M400 or 4000. It's 1208, 1900 kV, 12 poles, okay? So then this battery is gonna go in there and allow you to fly on the JST, which is more reliable, as we all know, than the original micro pH connectors that we used from yesteryear, okay? So if you look at this battery here is the newer style 50C 300 amp 2S. And as you can see, that would be another alternative that's got the correct plug. So we'll link to that stuff in the video description, guys. We've been having a small battle with Google. So if the links aren't working, just check out brianphillipsrc.com and we'll have links there. We'll make sure it's easy for you. And if you're ever in any doubt, you can follow the master link, which is gonna be to Horizon Hobby in this case. We'll get you to E-flite, or if you're buying through Tower, you can use Tower as well. Doesn't make any difference to us. We just want you guys to be taken care of. Now, that being said, if you have this style of the battery, okay, so it'd be like a 30C, we have this one taped around because that's the way it came out of the package and it worked fine. This has the micro pH style connection, and then you can get this adapter. But I just want to talk about safety issues here, okay? We had our first battery woe in a long time today, okay? We don't talk about this very often because we honestly don't have it happen very often. But we had one of our lesser educated operators try to charge one today. And we have gotten it restored back to regular voltage. That's what happens when you make a mistake. Don't make that mistake, because we caught it and we were fortunate to catch it. If you use this adapter, this plugs the top and bottom end so that you can use it as a main discharge lead, okay? Because it shares a common balance and discharge lead. Through the micro pH, this would be a micro pH, technically male end, that goes to a female ended JST. So that's to use in a plane, not to charge, okay? Because if you try to charge, like with this adapter that goes to one of these smart chargers, then you're gonna potentially catch this sucker on fire. We were fortunate we caught it. It was an honest mistake, but it was still a mistake nonetheless. And so we don't want you guys to have that same problem. Lipo safety is one of 2 features that you need to watch out for in the hobby. It's props and getting hit in the wrist and hands, face, things like that. If you're careful, it won't happen to you. Even when you're flying, most people don't get hit with planes. They just get cut when they're loading batteries or doing stupid things, or they bump the throttle. They don't, have good discipline. They don't use the throttle cut. We'll talk about that more. But this is the way the cable should look if you're charging these in the 2S configuration. See that? That is what should have been used for this type of battery. Because then what that does is that shares. Here, we'll go ahead and turn this on. That takes the main discharge lead and the balance leads for all 3. And then it allows everything to be communicated back to the charger. Now, that doesn't have to be a smart charger because this is not technically a smart battery, even though it's in the smart lineup. That's because the smart chips are too large for this size of a battery. So I think they usually start in somewhere around like 1300 milliamps or so, because there is a small chip that goes inside of here, okay? That chip is too big for these batteries and also make them too heavy. They're working on a solution, but I don't know what that solution is yet, and even if we did, we couldn't share it yet. So that being said, these batteries are 2S micro pH ended. You would need this adapter, okay? Or build one. Or you would have to build your own adapter that would go out to GST. But just keep in mind, it is a bit of a safety issue, and make sure you teach your kids how to charge these things if you have kids that are gonna be flying UMXs. And that is very common because UMX planes tend to be a little bit cheaper and still very capable. And they are definitely hobby grade. So I don't like to admit defeat. When we make a mistake, we try to own it on this channel. But getting back to amazing planes. Now, this is the Unbox radio setup portion of the video. So you've already seen this plane fly. You already know it's awesome. I'm sure it's awesome just based on our experience with previous UMX planes. But what is extra awesome about this is one more detail. This is what's also awesome about this plane, is because we haven't had an option. We haven't had an opportunity to do this in a long time, guys.
No.
This is the double. The last time we did this was J11 and SU-27.
Oh, yeah.
And we know how that ended.
Yeah.
Tears.
Let's not do that again.
Tears and disappointment. Okay? White box. Guys, feast your eyes. It's not just a delicious, delectable Hawkeye, it's also red and white.
Red.
That's so sweet. I gotta say, I don't know which one I like better, but I definitely like both of them, and they look sweet. Now, whoever repacked this did not tape it in very well. I would suggest you do better. Ah, yes. Now, that is also gorgeous.
Oh, man.
So now, and this is the part that I know you guys don't want to do, because most of you are not going to come home with 2 planes unless you're part of the cool crowd, because that is sweet. I am loving the fact that there are 2. Okay, so that being said, now that you know that there's 2 in the fleet, and we're super excited to be having the opportunity to share these things with you, do we actually need this Velcro? We actually don't need the Velcro, do we?
I mean, you won't use it.
No, I won't use it.
You can keep it for some other purpose of never, ever, ever.
Well, I have the one wrapped. I'll show you how I normally do it, folks. It's really easy. And what I do is I take that little piece of Velcro, I cut it in half, so I can save for another one. And I wrap a piece of tape around the battery that I anticipate using, inside out. And I stick that on there, and then I can load this into the plane, but then I can just use that between planes. Now, the other thing you can do is if you get the right type of hook and loop, AKA Velcro, then you can just use that piece of hook and loop to wrap the battery, and that's gonna get you taken care of so that you can do it like we've done in other planes, okay? So I think we did that in the Stoll Apprentice not too long ago. So if you guys haven't seen the Stoll Apprentice, it's a great option if you're just getting into flying. And to be honest, these UMX planes tend to be good choices for beginners, but the Stoll Apprentice is made of a different foam, and let's talk about that. So if you get this thing, I just want the camera crew to show a couple of big details. Okay, the big details are tires, size, thickness of wings, and then resiliency. That is made of EPO as opposed to EPS. Now, I know some of you are probably sitting there, keyboard warriors are getting fired up and saying, are you kidding me? That's made of EPS? You're darn tootin' it's made of EPS, because you're not gonna get this level of detail with an EPO model. Okay, so grab that, throw that over here. So what's gonna happen is, what you sacrifice, and even an unfinished like this, you're gonna have way lighter foam, okay? Way lighter, and you're gonna have way more detailed plane, okay? And that's part of the reason why, if you're brand new to the hobby, this is probably gonna be a better choice for you, because it's still gonna give you the brushless power plant. You're still gonna be able to fly on similar size batteries, but you could possibly then progress into something like this really quick. And so it's super fun to be able to do that, but just wanna point that out to you. If you drop this plane on the floor, there's a good chance you're gonna be fixing something, okay? Also, it's EPS, so it's gonna be more sensitive to CA, so be careful with CAs that you choose. If you choose something you use kicker, there is a high probability that it's going to work for a second and then it's gonna melt the foam away. So be careful, because the speed of the chemical reaction is what melts the foam. That's why they call it low odor CA. If it's gonna be foam safe, it's usually low odor or foam safe. I love the colors, amazing.
I don't know which one I like better.
I think the yellow is gonna pop better in the sky.
Yeah.
I think the white's gonna look great in the sky as well, but it just depends on the color of the sky.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this other strange ambiguous box set back here. Now, you guys know I'm a big fan of the NX10, and so we're gonna set one of these planes up on the NX10, and it's gonna be amazing, and we're gonna show you exactly how to do that. Now, why NX10? Because A, we come with a big battery then, we come with the lanyard, which is sitting over there on my batteries right now. We have better Hall effects sensors on gimbals, so they're just higher quality. However, I don't really know that that's a huge issue for me. I don't really care. As long as it's in the NX lineup, I've been fine with the sticks. Speaking of more sticks, speaking of scrolly wheel over the NX6, and then speaking of additional analog channels here with sliders, okay? And then the otherwise, what we've come to get used to, airware software, so that we can connect and communicate with avian ESCs, and we can also do forward programming. Now, you can do a lot of that on DX line, but there is something new and exciting that we're gonna talk about. Now, we're not gonna go through the entire setup on this video. We're gonna grace you with another video, and that video is going to sound pretty exciting, because what we're gonna do is we'll just pop this out real quick and give you an idea of the difference in look, size, and shape. So you guys are here for the Waco, and you're gonna be also seeing the all new, I don't wanna drop it and hit the Waco.
Yeah, don't do that.
The all new, exciting I'm sorry, what did I say?
You said NX7E.
NX7E, also known as the cow controller. So why would you get the 7E? Okay, here's why you would get the 7E. Because you know I'm preaching, get the 10, get the 10, get the 10, save the money. Save the money some other way, get the 10, right? That's because I want you to make good decisions for the long run. But there are a lot of people that are never gonna progress past 7 channels. And if you're one of those people, this is a good long solution, okay? It's gonna take care of what you need now. It's gonna give you some fancy lines and some cow looks. It's gonna be amazing. But what's gonna happen is you're gonna give up on a few things. You're gonna give up Wi-Fi, which is fine, because we found that, at least on our Wi-Fi, we've had trouble getting ours to connect, and we don't use it on a routine basis. We only use it for firmware updates. So, not a big deal. We still have a USB connection point, which is really handy. So that means you should still be able to use this for real flight. And you should be able to still do almost all the features that you want to do, but you're going to get almost a full feature suite. Here, you can go in and compare. If you follow the links in the video description below, we'll have a link to the NX lineup. You can just pick whichever one you want. But remember, this is considerably less money than, of course, the NX10. You do lose channels, of course. So let's pop this thing out and give you a quick look. Okay, we got a manual here. We're gonna definitely read that start to finish. And there it is, guys. So we have a cable here. Looks like a charger cable, because they've got that nice 90-degree angle on the USB-C and USB-A. And there's this little adapter thing. And then also I just wanted to point out the fact that the antenna still collapses. And by the way, I like that this box protects the sticks. And so you might want to keep this if you want something that's cheap to transport, or you can get some sort of a hard bomb case is what I like to call them. Okay, so as you can see, looks really nice actually. It's better looking in person than it was on the pictures. I'm afraid it's gonna show the dirt though. They should have gone white and black. There's a right knob, that's very nice, feels good. The switches are set up exactly like we're used to, with the exception of no sliders, because there is no slider here, okay? The antenna does go up, that's kind of nice, but it still collapses. I like that, pretty easy to use. Power button, for best experience, go to spectrumrc.com and update prior to use.
Has a different
So
lanyard
unlock,
point.
I don't know, oh, unlock. Whoa, so they have lanyard points. That's what this is. They have a straight lanyard point here too.
Oh.
So that's kind of cool. So look at that. So you got 3 hook points here. That does make me kind of nervous. The sticks feel considerably cheaper than what they do on the, I just got to feel these side by side. Yeah, these feel quite a bit nicer. They're not going to make a big, huge difference in use. I don't feel that much different, really. So there's a function button, a back button, and a cancel button, which is just like this. And then there's a scrolly wheel, just like that. The trimmers are like a high contrast silver. I hope that's not blinding in the sun. But they do feel like they're easier to get to than these, which is kind of cool. They stand out higher, and there's not a ramp that gets in the way. That ramp actually gets in the way. I have a harder time trimming on this NX10 than I ever did on my NX18, or my DX18.
You've mentioned that before.
DX18, DX9, I can't remember the full progression. Before we started with the NX6, went to the NX8. I got a second NX8, and then we went to the NX10. So I like that they're easy to get to. You've got that little thing. Let's see if it turns on. Oh, cool. Okay, so it turns on, looks pretty straightforward. Ooh, fancy dance. Oh, I thought that was a touchscreen for a second. So as you can see, we've got the monitor mode, all that stuff, just like what we're used to. Looks pretty simple. Now there is less audio events in here too, right? You just have those beeps, it sounds like.
Right, there are no spoken audio events.
That's right, okay. So back and cancel, yep, looks like what we're used to. Function, my list, cool. What does that say?
Ticker tape setup, my list setup.
So that's pretty cool. Okay, so there you have it, guys. Now, obviously, we're gonna do more of like a full setup video on one of these two planes. We'll probably, what do you think you wanna do? Which one do you wanna do?
I don't know.
I think we start with the NX10. We'll go ahead and get that set up with the yellow and black.
Okay.
And then we're hoping to fly it, which is not gonna take us very long to get this set up. And then we'll probably end up coming in and setting up the white and red, because I think we're gonna film better with yellow and black tonight, just based on the lighting. Also, there is not a pass-through handle here, unless of course you include where your middle finger could pass through here, okay? So as you can see, I don't know if there's an array of antennas in here or if this is just a handle. This actually houses an array, I believe, for a second antenna. I could be mistaken on that, and if I am, guys, I don't mean to mislead. But also this antenna, I rarely collapse it, but it feels very robust. However, this technically does collapse smoother, which is nice, okay? So there's definitely some advantages and disadvantages to look at, but in terms of overall size, feel, shape, no rubber here, just plastic. This is rubber. That helps. It's kind of amazing how big of a difference that makes. You can hold this thing a lot easier with the rubber than you will with plastic. Now, I'm not saying this is gonna like slip out of your hands easy, but it is definitely gonna be more of a factor you'll need to watch for. Oh, and then also, I just noticed there is no lanyard included.
Correct.
Which is a little bit weird, but also true. And that's part of the reason why we keep recommending that you go with the 10. If you've got the budget for it, get the 10, you're gonna go and you're gonna use the channels. We promise you will. We have shown using 10 numerous times on this channel. I think we're up to like 5 or 6 in the current layout of the models that we've reviewed. Also, this is the smaller 2,000 milliamp hour battery. So let's go ahead and show that real quick. How does this open? There's a lock there? What is that? I don't know how this works. And then there's a USB spot. How does this work?
Should just, looks like it slides.
How the heck does that work? I don't understand this. There's a release or an unlock. I'm sure they have like a detailed instruction manual that came with this.
Probably.
Because, okay, so let's talk about this then. So on this one, the way you open it is you slide it down and it's done, okay? And then that's a 6,000 milliamp hour. This is gonna be a 2,000 milliamp hour. And I usually like to hide a bind plug in there somewhere, okay? So it's got that same data port, and then it's got the USB port. But unlike the NX10, this has a USB-C, which is kind of ironically better. But I have this nice little wireless adapter that it's not a wireless adapter, but a magnetic attachment point, which is really handy, okay? So lots of different things to consider. I know you're here for the Waco, and so we hope we aren't boring you with these details, but I gotta figure out how the heck to open this thing now that we've talked about it, right?
Yes.
How the heck does that work?
We'll
find out and come right back. All right, the surgery is on, folks. So you remove that, then this allows you to get in here and release that. That is redonkulous. And there's your 2,000 milliamp hour battery, okay? So as you can see, this comes down, and we'll carefully put that down. It comes down, makes contact with that, and it makes perfect contact, okay? So that also allows you to get in to adjust the gimbals, right?
No, the gimbals was separate, but it was on the same page of the
okay.
directions. If you're curious or you need to look that up in the manual, it's on page 48.
So look how you put this back on. You lock it in and then snap it down. Oh, that is redonkulous too. So that is actually not too bad to get out. You just stick a fingernail in there and it just pries right out.
Pull it out,
okay?
straight out. Okay.
Then also this lock is pretty much hidden and it's spring loaded, okay? So honestly, I gotta say, I do like that the switches are in the same positions that what we're used to as well. Okay, so that'll be an easy setup. Oh, with the gimbal adjustment, where'd you see that?
Yep, page 48.
Page 48, okay. So there's actually a slide. Yeah, you said you can slide those out.
Oh, you do use the same tool. That's what the tool is for.
Okay.
Okay, I understand.
So you can slide that in. Whoa. How does that work, though? Just about broke my tool. Ramming it in the hole. That's awkward. How does it work? Does that allow you to just pull the whole? Oh, wow. Does it just come straight out, hun?
Never twist or pry.
Yeah, I didn't pry. I just
Carefully remove the cover, exposing the gimbals. Pull the tool straight out. The gimbal cover will partially lift away from the transmitter face.
Oh, there it goes.
Like that. Ooh.
Okay, then you can get in and make your adjustments here, okay?
Yes.
So there's 1, 2, there's these things, 3, 4, 5. So basically you guys got to go through the manual on that yourself. If you decide to change, you can change the spring tension on these, and then whether or not, I don't know if this has the rumble strip. I don't like the rumble strip myself, but some of you guys do like that. So I'm sure whatever you want, when you get in there, you can pop that cover and get to them, okay? So we'll actually go over that a little bit more, and I'm not sure if it's gonna be in this video or if it's gonna be in a video that we'll link to that'll be available during the Unbox Build Radio setup release, or maybe right before this, similar to the way we would do it if there was more of a build. But for now, we're gonna set up the NX10 right now. So let's go ahead and turn on the NX10. I'm gonna grab a battery, probably a 2S and a 3S, just so we're ready to go. Okay, and so camera crew and I are going to set up one or both of these right now. Okay. Did you notice the pants? Mm-hmm, That's so cool. The wheel fairings and pants look really nice on this. So the first thing you have to do when you're setting up one of these models, it's pretty straightforward stuff, okay? Especially on UMX, is you're gonna build a new model profile. So cancel and back takes you to your model list. Scroll down to add new plane. So add new model, acro, whoops, I'm sorry. Cancel, add new model, create. Now this is gonna take a second, so just be aware. Okay, so now I wanna load a battery or get a battery ready to load. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull off this cover and just let it come out to you so you don't damage any of this foam, okay? Okay, so it's done creating the model. That takes longer the more models you have, okay? We're gonna get a glare there.
No, you're good right there.
Okay, I'm just gonna move this other beautiful piece over here. So gorgeous. Okay, so model select, model type. We've already set that model name. This is where we type in the name. So this is gonna be the Waco, so we'll be back when we're done typing. Okay, so yellow and black. Aircraft type. So we're gonna do this. Now, if you're not familiar how to do this, this is really helpful in the manual. If you go to this page, it's also gonna tell you like what type of battery to use. So is this just 2S, or is it 3S as well?
No, that's the optional. Recommended is the 3S up here.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, so we're gonna use 3S, guys. We're gonna go straight to 3S. This is where you're gonna get your setup if you're looking for help, okay? So it's gonna tell you the different order. You go power on the transmitter, blah, 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 and we're gonna set this up exactly as we would normally set it up and not necessarily the way this is, because it looks pretty basic, okay? So we're gonna talk about that in just a second. But this, you can follow this exactly, but you're just gonna follow the video, so, because it looks like switch F. This has safe, so did they talk about that? Okay, well, we'll talk about that. Okay, so normal type for the tail, and then we're gonna scroll, select an image, whoops. I think they have a biplane in here, don't they? Yeah, there you go. So that's good enough. And then we'll do flight mode setup. Flight mode, we'll set it to, well, let's think about this. We don't have flaps, so we could just use this, or we could go up here. Let's just do that, okay? So switch D, and then spoken flight mode. This is where we can set the different flight modes to have some sort of impact. We're gonna come back to that. Channel assign, switch B. I don't really care, it's not doing anything, so it's not gonna hurt us. And then I just wanna make sure I know switch D is impacting something. Maybe we should switch D would be aux1. Okay, so we know aux1 is gonna be tied to that. Now you can also go over to this and you can change this to flight mode, okay? But in our case, it's gonna be on switch D, so we know that now for aux1. Okay? Now walking out to the main screen, we're gonna go into throttle cut. We're gonna set that to switch H, which should be on by default if you ask me. Look down here, see it's not working, that's good. Okay, then we're gonna set up dual rates in Expo the way I set it up, not the way the manual does, but you can go back to the manual and do it their way if you like it better. So there's 5, 10, and then 20. So it's gonna give you some progressive, more Expo, and then I'm gonna drop my rates down to 90. So we're gonna start in the middle. If we need more, we've got more. If we need less and we want it more touchy, we can go to less, okay? Then we just replicate that for each of the 3 controls, which would be pitch, roll, and yaw. Of course, we're doing pitch now. So if you're a little bit too pitch sensitive, then you can go to the higher expo setting and you can get the reduced rates. And then when you come back after your first landing, you can set that to your middle, and then you can double in half above and below. Just setting it to switch F. So in that setting, I want it to be step 5. Now, if you guys are watching this and you're thinking, hey, I want to help support Brian Phillips RC, super easy way to do that is buy this stuff from the links in the video description below. If you can't find the links because Google has basically castrated us from the ability to sell things to audience that wants to buy things that are awesome that we review on our channel, then you can head over to brianphillipsrc.com. That's our domain, and we'll have it there for you. So don't worry. Also, we have things organized in the different manufacturers and by different type of airplane, so we'll make it easy for you. But ultimately, we hope YouTube just straightens up and lets us give you guys what you've been asking for, which is easier links to follow. Okay, all right, throttle cut. So we're done with throttle cut. We're done with pretty much everything except for the timer. Now, timers are gonna be somewhat irrelevant in this, but I'm gonna still set it to 5 minutes with a 1 out. That means anything over 25% starts the timer. And then at 1 minute, I want a voice. At 20, I want nothing. At 10 seconds, I want a voice countdown. And then at expiration, I want tone and vibrate with a tone every minute thereafter. All right, and then also I was gonna say, if you ever get into something like when I did the expo setup and you need me to go slower, just click the gear icon, which is down kind of the lower right-hand side. Click it, and then you can slow down the playback, and that's gonna hopefully help you. Now, also, you can see we have 3 flight modes, don't mean anything yet. Throttle cuts on. We're ready to bind. 3S pack. This is the way we did our little plastic tape around the battery and a little bit of Velcro. Just go ahead and slide this in here. Stick this down. Now you don't want to make sure that your battery lead is not going to get into the spinning part of the motor, because that can be bad, of course. And you also want to have your throttle cut on and throttle stick down, because you see where my hand is. It's pretty hard to avoid having your hands and fingers in the strike zone there. Strike, you're out. Okay, and normally I would wait, but since we're binding, we have to go in here and bind. Now you see my left hand is close, so I'm going to go ahead and, you see that, you know, disco tech going on in there? Okay, then I'm going to bind. Telemetry. Now it's going to change, okay? So just holding my hand here. Oh, it's probably already set to safe on gear switch. Okay, so first things first, test the throttle. We're safe, throttle cut is on. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck these wires. Now that we've had a chance to establish everything is safe, we can drop that on. Oh yeah, you can hear AS3X working already, which is pretty cool. We may not need the flight modes. If we did that in error, we'll point it out. Elevator up, elevator down, roll left, roll right, yaw left, yaw right. Now, how do you know? Move the transmitter. Just get in the habit. Move the transmitter. Okay, I'm looking at both sides, by the way. Take off flaps, landing flaps, nothing happens. Nothing. Safe is already assigned to the gear switch, okay? So we do not need, we're gonna go back into system setup, we're gonna go into flight mode setup, and we're gonna disassociate that because it's not necessary, and then you'll notice that there's no longer a flight mode listed, which is kind of nice. So here's how you can tell if safe is on. Hold your stick down and out. That's safe. This is AS3X, okay? So now I'm gonna click, I'm gonna go to servo setup, travel, reverse, and I'm gonna switch gear backward. That's gonna mean safe is on with this thing toward me. Safe is off the way I would normally fly. And there you have it, guys. Now, the other thing you can do is with safe on, throttle cuts on and tested, you can flip the plane over and look at the ailerons. It's finding the quickest route to level. Now, another thing too that's really handy, clear your timer if it's going. Click, go to servo setup, travel. I'm gonna go to ailerons and I'm gonna go down to like 97%. Elevator, I'm gonna go to like 97. Rudder, I'm gonna go to like 97. And you're like, why would you do that? Because these are long throw linear servos, and it's a good way to help prolong your servo life, because these things will get to the point where they move so fast that they go and overshoot target and get stuck. I've had it happen, many of you have had it happen. That is a very easy way to save your tail. And we're gonna go out and fly this thing pretty much right now. So we hate to be short on this video, but the truth is AS3X and safe are pretty much already set, already out of box. So that's very simple. And this thing's gonna fly, hopefully, for long enough to matter. But then also let's check one more thing. Scrolling over, we're gonna see what the telemetry is. Beautiful, love it. That is the screen I will fly on. And then also I'm just gonna scroll all the way over. There is no Avian ESC to reverse thrust. And I don't really care on this plane. I don't think we're gonna need reverse thrust. It's not gonna be appropriate. But what is gonna be appropriate is watching this thing fly right now in my real life. So I can't wait to do it, guys. If you want to get one of these and help support Brian Phillips RC and all the things we do RC related, we want you guys to check out the links in the video description below. If you get in there and there's like no links and you're like, how do I do this, Brian? Just navigate over to brianphillipsrc.com, or you can go to our face. So you just click on our face and there will be a link that shows one link or a series of links that you can follow, and then it will expand and you can go that way too. Either way, the links are exactly the same as they always have been. It's just that Google is attacking us by trying to remove any possibility of revenue outside of ad revenue because they're greedy. And that's what we're fighting literally right now. And it's not just once or twice. We have 1,900 plus videos, and we have descriptions with, 40, 50, 60 links on them that just say like P51, and you click and it goes to a P51. It's not rocket science. And we do the same thing with a plane like this so that we make it easy for you guys and convenient when you decide you can't live without this thing, which should be about now. Then you can follow that link and buy one. And when you do that, then that allows our affiliates, like Horizon Hobby in this case, to know that we sent you there, and then they pay commissions to us. This is the way it's always worked. Nothing's changed except for when we were really early in our infancy of our channel. It was just, we didn't have those relationships yet. As soon as those relationships start, we tell you about them, and it's very basic, and it's always been the same. So the only thing that's changed is just the reach that we have with our audience, and the amazingness of the products have really improved over years. So that being said, if you want to see how the NX7E works, we'll be doing that next. And, but I want to fly this thing like right now. So we're going to do that. And if you guys also want to help us, but you don't want to buy this plane right now, we have Patreon, which helps give you access to us for comments. Thank you for our Patreons. We had some Patrons that upped their ante because they heard about our Google thing, which is pretty cool. Thank you guys for doing that. It has been terrible to deal with Google. It's been like the biggest downer on the most amazing, fun part of our life, and to just have somebody basically take a dump right on it. That's the way it's been. It's been terrible. It's sucking up the camera crew's time. What you guys don't realize is the camera crew doesn't just film. She spends like 5 to 10 hours a day working the channel. It's a lot of work. I spend, you know, time with her, but it's different because she's on the hook for all these changes, chasing our tail, trying to obey these impossible parameters that YouTube just on a flight change. And we're like, to what? Well, you know, the thing. That's pretty much their answer for anything.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, you're not compliant. So now they're threatening to literally terminate the channel because they make a policy that nobody knows what it says. And they expect you to follow it, but they don't articulate what that policy is. This is what it is to be a YouTuber and to work for a Fortune 100 company as a partner. We're subjects, not partners. So anyway, if you guys know how to help us solve that, the best way you can do it is watch the videos, like the videos, subscribe, click the bell for notifications so you can get updates on all the latest and greatest in RC. And then obviously follow the links in the video description below if they still exist, which we hope they do, because that's kind of like a huge kick, squatting the newts. And there wasn't even a nut sack, bolt sack in this plane, just so you guys know, which is pretty awesome. So also we have Patreon, PayPal for one-time support donations, and then super thanks and YouTube membership. So if you want to let them keep their cut, which they do a lot, in case you're wondering, that's one way you can do it. But we don't ever want you guys to have to bear the burden. The only reason we share it is because we know that you care way more than Google. And because you care, we share. And that's the only reason we do it. We seriously, if we could just never talk about it, we would love it. It would be the best thing since sliced bread. But obviously we're eating toast right now and it's burned. So, all right guys, NX10, it's gonna work great. Can't wait to get into the NX7E, and this thing's gonna be fun. So stay tuned, so much more from Brian Phillips RC.